Hello, I'm the new farmer. Oh my god, what happened to you? Ah, nothing, I just outgrew my skin is all. Welcome to Elderfield is a cozy farming RPG set in a haunted town where you can romance Lovecraftian entities, grow unusual crops, and explore a town where the unusual is mundane. The mechanics are cozy, but the setting is not, and it's a horribly addicting combination. You wake up, watch the news for the daily insane thing that's happening, go explore that insane thing, and then run off to your cozy farm and grow some eyeballs. Interestingly enough, despite it being a farming game, that isn't really the main focus. I mean, you don't even own the farm here, you're just a farmhand. There's just so much exploration to do, and so many random little side quests you can only find by doing so, such as helping a man build a wife. I think my favorite one was where this mother asks you for help finding her son, but when you find him, he asks you to drug both her and his dad. Obviously, I did that, in part due to the foreboding door that gave me a bad vibe, and in part because I'm a bad person. After drugging them, he gave me the key to enter that door, and I found his siblings locked up in the basement. Now that is some cool storytelling. The kid never once told me what I'd find, so I got to discover it and be horrified all on my own. There's also a fantastic blend of serious dialogue and funny giggle moments that make the game feel very serious while also not having such an overbearing horror atmosphere. That's a tough blend, but it works really well for this game because part of the mystery and intrigue is seeing how Lovecraftian horror being normalized in this town affects the residents. I also became enraptured by the combat, which is really beautiful and shockingly difficult. A lot of my money went into gambling on new equipment, new skills, and healing items just so I could get a little bit further in the haunted, decrepit mall. It's very difficult to balance your mana and health as those healing items are a bit hard to come by and require some cooking, plus the RNG sometimes just decides that you don't get to hit, so you're really stressing about that mana since it can increase your hit chance. Oh, also, this game was somehow made in RPG Maker despite being absolutely gorgeous both in its pixel art and in the visual effects that are fully customizable. So in broad strokes, the game looks beautiful, but I also really love those little touches, like when you sprint outside, you ride on your bike, and the bells will ring and the trail you leave behind changes. Those small little touches add up to make the world feel very real and lived in. The sound effects are also crisp and pleasurable, and the music too is a lovely mix of unsettling and wholesome Chungus lo-fi beats to murder and die to. Speaking of dying, you'll die a lot, because this game loves to add little random curses to you whenever you get unlucky, and those curses really add up. It's super interesting to see how these curses interact with combat too, because items can also add them, and you can get good ones, so sometimes you'll be in a good spot with your curses, and that's a good time to go do fighting. You could go take a relaxing bath to remove the curses at any time, but some curses are permanent, and taking a bath also respawns enemies, so sometimes, if you have permanent curses, those days are a good time to do anything but fight. Really, it's best to kind of segment out what you're doing each day because you really want to gear up and get food and go do all of your killing in one round to save on time. Or just like chill and enjoy the game. This happened with Stardew Valley too. I'm already trying to optimize everything. Even if you die, you don't lose too much, nor does it skip to the next day. Actually, you never even need to sleep, which means every day feels really, really long, which is good because there's a shit ton to do. What's most impressive to me is how this game adapted Stardew Valley-like systems to work in RPG Maker. Instead of having to clear out your entire farm, there are already designated plots blocked by tentacles, which you must clear using a special item. The debris then around the farm are separately harvested for crafting items, and while harvesting, random events can occur. It works this same way in the mines, where you're completely fine until you start mining, and then the sound of your pickaxe can bring all sorts of horrors. It makes every swing more stressful, but there's also a more relaxed pace to things because of there being no on-map enemies. The fishing, though, is kind of lame, especially the part where you just sit and wait for the fish bar to go up before the minigame even starts. In Stardew Valley, you have to be locked in, or you could miss the fish, but here you always get a chance to do the minigame, which makes it kind of a slog. That said, I got horrifically addicted to this game's demo, so I can't imagine what'll happen when the full game is out. There's just a really nice, drippy drip feeding of content, so there's always something new to do, and like if you don't like fishing, there's plenty of other things you can do with your time. There's tons of areas to explore, and on top of that, they often have randomized outcomes there, so you can constantly go back and find new things. You'll get new letters in the mail for little side quests, new characters and systems introduced gradually. It just all flows and builds on itself really nicely. The game's never too scary either, like there's no jump scares, but it is unsettling, and you'll always wonder what will be around the corner, especially when it comes to enemies. The character designs are just phenomenal though, so sometimes I don't mind dying horrifically if it's to a cool enemy. I found a lot to be inspired by here and took a lot away from my own RPG Maker game Grimdelve. In particular, I immediately added this edge blur effect because I loved how it added depth to the screen, and I'm also attempting to add in pixel movement because while I've hated on it in the past, I can't deny that it really does give RPG Maker games a nice modern feel. I also want to add more of these little bits of environmental storytelling, like when you walk up to the park, there's a creepy fog setting in, or all these little tentacles and strange objects laying around. They add up to a consistently unsettling atmosphere where it feels like there's so much more to discover than meets the eye. A lot of the narrative was uncovered by simply exploring, meeting weird people, and taking in the vibes, and I guess that's what it really is. I want more vibes in Grimdelve. So yeah, Welcome to Elderfield is my most anticipated upcoming RPG Maker game at the moment, and one that is definitely worth checking out. It's intriguing to see how these dark themes it's included will be explored in such a relaxed setting, and I think that juxtaposition will result in some really powerful story moments. The game just crossed 150,000 wishlists and is the 345th most wishlisted game on Steam, which is fucking insane for an RPG Maker game. It's amazing to see a game made in this engine get such a loving reception, and I hope that can inspire other RPG Maker devs to continue creating. This engine's fantastic because it allows really special ideas to shine and be made when they otherwise may not have been. This combination of cozy and Lovecraftian horror is pretty novel, and to me at least, the constraints of the engine have allowed them to craft gameplay systems and environments that also feel very distinct from other cozy games. A lot of RPG Maker games try to either fight the engine or be completely limited by it, but this is a good example of leaning into the limitations while still creating novel systems for the engine. I think it's really interesting how working within the constraints of RPG Maker can lead to a completely different feel in the game. Like earlier I was talking about how you're totally fine in the mines until you start mining and only then do things happen. That's a completely different feeling embedded in the player and in the gameplay experience than in Stardew Valley that has enemies roaming around throughout the mines. I think sometimes constraints breed creativity, and it's just really cool to see that in the game. Welcome to Elderfield is also a masterclass in having a strong hook, which a lot of RPG Maker games or just beginner games in general often fail to have. Cozy Lovecraftian horror farming RPG is a hook that immediately grabs a ton of different audiences and can be easily communicated in marketing material. It screams, "This game is something different," while still being derivative of other games that have come before it, so it still feels familiar and approachable. At the end of the day, my channel's all about RPG Maker, and these success stories fill me with hope and only push me harder to work on my own game and continue to champion this amazing little engine, even while the developers of said engine try to nuke it to the ground. Look, if anything I've said has interested you, then consider adding Welcome to Elderfield to your wishlist, and if you like this kind of unsettling RPG Maker game, then consider also adding Grimdelve to your wishlist as well. Wishlists really help out small indie devs, and this team is making something incredible. For now, that's all for me. This is a new little series I'm trying out where I rapid-fire review a game with minimal editing, so let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.